Next, we come to this Bengal revolutionaries.
Bengal revolutionaries were the pride of the nation. They they ultimately taught the British a lesson which made them to shift their capital to Delhi in 1912. Otherwise, they had a capital in Calcutta. Everything was going normal, but the revolutionary patriots, they tortured the British as they were torturing us. So let us start with that. It was British Paramathanath, Barrister Paramathanath Banerjee. He started Anushilin Samiti in 1902. Anushilin word was also taken from uh, Chatterjee, Chatterjee's book, because it means cultivation of culture. Culture. So, by Bankim Chandra Chatterjee legacy, cultivation of potential faculties of man. So this number of very important persons joined this Anushilin Samiti. Brinder, who was younger brother of Arbindu Ghosh, he also proceeded to Gujarat to take the training of a revolt. They used to take Gita oath. Whosoever joined this association, they took the oath by holding Bhagavad Gita in one hand and sword in the other hand. Jinnah children with the word that as long as there is life in me, and as long as India is not liberated from her chain of subjection, I will carry on the work of revolution. If at any time I disclose a single event of the society or harm the society in any way, it shall be at the cost of my own life. Now, that was the oath which was being administered on the person who joined the association. Ultimately, Bande Matram was also taken by them from Bankim Chandra Chatterjee's book, which means a mother to Salam. So the words Vande Matram became so much public, and the public liked these words, and they used to greet each other with Vande Matram, not with the Namaste or Sat Sri Akal or but greet with the Vande Matram, Vande Matram. So in the meantime, the British people thought that they would not be able to control the Bengalis, and they divided the Bengal into two parts as they are now. So this partition of Bengal was opposed by every leader, political leader, and even in Punjab, which was not affected, Lal-Bal-Pal carried on a great series of criticism speeches against the British for doing so, which ultimately they had to call back. Hanji,
This partition of Bengal, it
Hanji.
was in the form of East Bengal and West Bengal.
Something like that. It was brought into the picture in 1905 or 1906, but which led to huge processions and protests. It was divided in two parts as it is today, East and West. So, because the more pressure was in the west side, which is present Bengal, West Bengal today. So therefore, many people used to go there also. So the number of revolutionary in East Bengal was less, but jointly they were taking everything to every place in Bengal. So ultimately, the British people were great worried about them, and they exchanged the Governor General of India and the Secretary of State for India. They exchanged letters among them, and they said our days in India appear to be very few. Some parties also started Jugantar party. Uh, when an article appeared in Bande Matram, The British thought it is owned by Arbindu Ghosh, and then Arbindu Ghosh was prosecuted, as we mentioned in Bankim Chandra Pal's case. So he was the witness. He failed to appear, but ultimately case was started against Bipin Chandra Pal. And the British people were very much aggrieved against the call given by call of Bande Mataram. They banned it publicly. Okay, you cannot greet each other in public places with Bande Mataram. So when the trial was going on against Bipin Chandra Pal, the people started reaching the courts also. They, in one day, uh, uh, when the case was going on, there was one boy, Sushil Sen. He even in the court called Vande Mataram with loud voice. So Kingsford was the magistrate. He asked his sergeant, who was like a guard. He asked him that catch hold of this boy. Sushil Sen, when the sergeant approached Sushil Sen gave a slap to that sergeant in the courtroom itself. And Kingsford ordered that Sushil Sen would be awarded 15 lashes in public, so that the public may also see that talking of Bande Mataram is so much punishable by the British. And with each flogging, he called Bande Mataram. There were two persons, one Khudiram Bose, and there was one uh, Perfulla Chakki. These two persons thought that they will not now spare the magistrate, as he has passed excessive sentence against Sushil Singh. And the British were also afraid. The British transferred this magistrate from Calcutta to Muzaffarpur, which was in Bihar. So these two boys, Prafulla Chakki and Khudiram Bose, they reached Muzaffarpur. They took a bomb with them, and they continued watching the activities of this Kingsford magistrate. When he goes to the court, when he comes back, when he how he does it. In a buggy he used to go, they noticed. And when buggy was coming out of the house of the magistrate at the court time almost, they thought that possibly magistrate was sitting in the buggy. So they threw a bomb on the buggy, but unfortunately Miss Kennedy and Mrs. Kennedy were sitting in the buggy at that time, not the magistrate himself. Both these ladies were killed by the bomb blow. And Khudiram Bose was arrested on first. This bomb was thrown on April 30, 1908. Khudiram Bose was arrested on 1st May 1908. He was put on trial. So far as Prafulla Chakki is concerned, he had escaped to a train to go back to Calcutta. In the meantime, he saw in the train Bengali constables were sitting in the train, and he challenged them. When they tried to arrest him, they said, "You Bengali brothers, I am a Bengali. You are serving the white Goras and arresting me, your own state brother." So he saw that there was no emotional impact on the constables, he shot himself dead, Prafulla Chakki. And Khudiram Bose was tried, and ultimately he was hanged on August 1908, 1908. Or when Khudiram Bose also died with Vande Mataram on his lips, and his reaction was so much throughout the Bengal town, Bengal the state, that every Bengali mother felt as if her son has been executed. So this was in the meantime, the members of the Anushilin Samiti, they were preparing bombs for the for attack on British people. And ultimately, when the British got a little cue of that incident, so therefore they caught hold of that. It was house number 32, Murari Pukar Road at Maniktola. It is known as Maniktola conspiracy case also and Alipur conspiracy case also. And people were arrested. They were put on trial on October 14, 1908. And the judgment was delivered on April 6, 1909. There was a law that only the life prisoner would be sent to Andamans, but they broke the law themselves, and even term prisoners who were sentenced to 5 years or 7 years, they were also sent for the first time, and they reached a cellular jail in December 1909, a first batch of revolutionaries after the prisoners of the Indian War of Independence 1857. They were there, but the new batch, there was a new batch which was sent for trial. Barinder Kumar Ghosh, he was the younger brother of Arbindu Ghosh, Ulaskar Dutt, and many other people uh, were deported to uh, Andamans. This Khudiram Bose was defended by Bal Gangadhar Tilak, but ultimately it was led. Arbindu Ghosh was trial was going on. He was defended by uh, he was defended uh, by C.R. Das. See, I want to read a few lines which C.R. Das spoke in favor of Arbindu Ghosh in the court while arguing the case of Arbindu Ghosh. Okay, he said, "My appeal to you is this," pointing towards Arbindu, that long after this controversy is hushed up in silence, long after this turmoil is over, this agitation ceases, long after he is dead and gone, he will be looked upon as the poet of patriotism, as the prophet of humanism, and the lover of humanity. He further said, long after he is dead and gone, thundered C.R. Das with emphasis. His words will be, his means Arvindu Ghosh's words will be echoed and re-echoed not only in India but across different seas and lands. Therefore, I say that the man in his position is not only standing before the bar of this court, he is also standing before the bar of the High Court of History. So he was acquitted ultimately.